Yo, what it do, YouTube? It's your boy Alvin MB10, aka AMR10, and what I got for you today is some more NBA 2K22 Next Gen. More specifically, what I have for you today happens to be the best prime Chris Paul build within all NBA 2K22 Next Gen, and this build is not glitched, but it might be better than majority of the glitch builds you've seen out there, because this thing is something special. I gotta say, big old shout out to Alfonso, because he did drop the comment, basically asked me to make this build, and I went out there, I made it, and trust me, when you see the badges this build gets, as well as the attributes it gets, you will be amazed. Now, as you can guess, Chris Paul, point guard, right-handed, jersey number 3, aka CP3, or the point guard. As most of you know, we will be making this build based around his play in New Orleans, because even though he dominated in LA, everybody remembers if it was prime CP3, it was New Orleans when he took it to Kobe and the Lakers. Now, height-wise, he is 6 foot and weighs about 195 pounds, but I decided to go with 176. Mainly because what I do to the wingspan is I reduced it all the way down to 6 foot, so I had to keep it at 176 to have the ability of getting Hall of Fame clamps on this build, whilst also having the ability of getting Hall of Fame quick first step, amongst many other things. Body shape wise, as you can guess, we're going to go define because it is what it is. This really doesn't affect the build. Now, before we get into this build breakdown, I do got to say thank you to all of you for all the support you've been showing to the channel. We're currently sitting at about 1,076 subscribers. As you know, the channel is monetized, all that beautiful stuff. Low-key, this channel's gonna pay for 2K23, but yeah, that's beyond the fact. So I do gotta say thank you for all the support. But I also gotta say, if you like today's video, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button. Don't forget to share the video. If you have a comment on the, don't forget to share the video. Drop a comment, don't forget to share the video. And also, if you're new to the channel and you ain't done so yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as turning post notifications on. Now, getting straight into the build, first things first, let's get the finishing out the way, because this doesn't happen to be the best that we could get it at, but we went with a 66 when it came to the close shot, and an 87 when it came to the driving layup, as well as a 65 when it came to the driving dunk. This is because, as I said, this is a prime CP3 build, so we're aiming for quick dunks off of both feet, off of 2 feet or 1 foot, as well as aiming for just generic dunks, but at the same time we had to get Hall of Fame Giant Slayer and Acrobat, because prime CP3, even though he wasn't out here banging it on people too tough, you know what I'm saying, he really did finish at the cup with some finesse. Now, to get the physicals out the way, because I always do like to move these out, I decided to go with an 87 speed, because as most of you know, I put 87 speed, 88 speed on the Russell Westbrook build, so I felt there was no way I could give Russell Westbrook an 88 speed and then put CP3 way higher, because in their primes, Russell Westbrook was way faster. But that also meant I decided to go with an 87 when it came to the Excel, and when it came to the stamina, I decided to go a little bit higher than usual by giving this build a 97 stamina, just because I do feel like you will be pounding the ball to the turf quite a bit with this Chris Paul build. Now, that rounds up the finishing for this build. The next thing I'm gonna get into is, actually, I'm gonna get into the defense, because yeah, the shooting is something spectacular. I decided to go with a 94 when it comes to the perimeter defense, because as you can guess, that allows us to get Hall of Fame ankle braces, hustler, off-ball pass, tireless defender, pick dodger, clamps, and defensive leader, as well as gold menace. And as most of you know, Chris Paul is somewhat of a really good two-way player. The only thing that hinders him is his height, but outside of that, he really does clamp up. And then when it came to the steal, I decided to give him a 90, because even though he does pickpockets quite a bit, actually, this is where 2K needs to adjust it, because you should have the capability of getting Hall of Fame pickpocket before Hall of Fame interceptor. Because for example, Chris Paul, I'd rather say he's more Hall of Fame pickpocket than interceptor, but we can only get Hall of Fame interceptor on this one and go with gold pickpocket. And then when it came to the block, as you can guess, we went with a 54, because again, we always do try and get at least a bronze intimidator on all of the builds we make, because if you don't have it, you really can't be contesting shots out here. Now, that's everything we did defensively. As you can see, that rounds us up to about 21 total bash points on this build when it comes to defense, with the key things being the ones we need really are at Hall of Fame. The only ones that aren't are pickpocket as well as intimidator. Now, shooting. I decided to go with a 95 when it came to the mid-range, because I really did want to get Hall of Fame difficult shots, hot zone, not even hot zone 100, sorry, Hall of Fame difficult shots and mismatch expert, because difficult shots was a 95 and mismatch expert is a 94, so we went with a 95 when it came to the mid-range jump shot. As you can see, that also allows us to get Hall of Fame fade ace, clutch shooter, lucky number 7, volume shooter, sniper, slippery off ball, and set shooter, as well as rhythm shooter. And then when it came to the 3-ball, as you can guess, we went with an 87, just because that allowed us to get gold Deadeye and everything else gold, as well as Hall of Fame corner specialist. I believe shooting-wise, this makes this build really stand out, because, as I said, it is a Chris Paul build, so we were really aiming for it to be that when you're shooting, you're mainly highly dominant at the mid, and when it comes to 3, you're able to spread the ball, but it's not one of the things that you're uber dominant at. Now, free throw wise, I decided to give a little bit on the higher end with an 84 when it comes to the free throw. Then of course we get straight into the playmaking. You got to go with a 90 pass accuracy on any Chris Paul build because this man does get gold, dimer, and floor. He is a floor general and he is a dimer, so you know what I'm saying, I decided to go with gold, floor general, and dimer. I probably could have pushed it a little bit higher to like a 99 to get it all at Hall of Fame, but the truth of it is that would have taken too many attributes because as you see, that jumps me up 2 overalls, which is a bit too much, especially on a build like this. And then when it came to the ball handle, I decided to go with a 93 because I wanted the ability of getting Hall of Fame hyperdrive as well as quick chain, and also gold unpluckable, Hall of Fame stop and go, tight handle, break starter, like space creator, just to name a few badges. That is really what I wanted to get at Hall of Fame. And then as you can get speed of ball all the way up to a 92 because we wanted to get Hall of Fame quick first step and downhill, because with this sort of setup on the build, you will be able to basically break defenders down relentlessly. And as you can see with the high pass accuracy, you'll be able to move the ball around and you're not a liability when it comes to either shooting or finishing at the cup because you have a really high layup as well as a really great shooting capabilities. And then obviously defensively, you can lock the shit up. Now, as you can see, that allows us to finish with a grand total of 55, 87, 105 total badge points on this here Chris Paul build. And if you've managed to finish all 9 seasons of NBA 2K22 Next Gen, as well as rebirth the build, then you get a grand total of 118 total badge points on this build. I'm not gonna lie, that is something special. Now, we're gonna go straight into the takeovers where first one first, as it is a Chris Paul build, you gotta go with something along the lines of Team Takeover Boost. That's what I'd run because the ratings and badge boost, they're nice and all, but the takeover boost is better because if you can get a team takeover going a lot quicker, especially in things like the rec, you can really do a lot, which is what Chris Paul does when he gets his team going. They just start to dominate and do it impeccably. And then the second one I'd go with is, I don't know if I'd go with negative impact. Because I would have gone with something like clamps or something, but the thing about it is when Chris Paul's team really needs him to step up late in games or in really clutch games, he goes from passing the ball to being one of the deadliest scorers I've ever seen. So I'm going to go with negative impact for my secondary takeover. And now what 2K says we have happened to build here happens to be a playmaking shot creator, the likes of John Stockton, Fred VanVleet, Mike Conley. Out of all 3 of those, only John Stockton is the person I'd say is the closest to Chris Paul. Mike Conley's second. Fred VanVleet, man, they just hoping and throwing shit in the dark. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's build video, which if you did, don't forget to do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel and you ain't done so yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And also, don't forget to share the video and drop a comment telling me what build you want to see next. Anyway, it's been your boy Alvin MB10, aka AMR10. Deuces. Let me go drink some water.